Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Miracles with Mary. This is a channel for miracles, manifestation, and mindset. And this will be part of my numerology series of 11 life paths. So this one will be about the number 5 life path, the adventurer. And we'll go over the symbolism, traits, purpose, the gifts and light side, the challenges and shadow side, how they can grow and develop, and a list of careers for 5 life paths. But before we get into this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos. Okay, so with the 5 life path, they are the number of change. So these people really enjoy and are very adaptable to change. So for the symbolism in numerology, number 5 is in the middle because only numbers 1 through 9 exist in numerology, and in smack dab in the middle is number 5. So when you get to the center of things, that's when you create change. So 5 is also the unifier of 2 worlds and is the connection between soul and man. It's in the middle. For the physical body, we have 5 physical senses, 5 toes. Oh wait, no, we don't. We don't have 5 toes. 5 toes on each feet and 5 fingers on each hand. In the Olympics, we have 5 rings representing 5 continents who are competing. Then we have the pentagram, the shape, like the star, and it shows up in many cultures and religions. In Taoism, it represents the 5 elements, which is fire, water, earth, air, and metal. It's also used in Chinese medicine as well. Pythagorean followers say that number 5 is the mathematical perfection and eventually evolved into the golden ratio. And so it also that represents the marriage between earth and heaven. In the Bible, the 5 represents 5 wounds, and also the body stretched out. You know, the Da Vinci artwork, the body being stretched out, the star or the pentagram. It also represents Alpha and Omega when it comes to the Bible. Like Jesus Christ is the Alpha and Omega, or the beginning and the end. It also represents the 5 mysteries in the Bible: the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, creation, and redemption. And when it comes to the 10 commandments, the first 5 are your relationship with God, and the last 5 is relationship with other humans. And then when we come to Judaism, Moses wrote 5 books, and that is in the Torah, which Jewish people follow. It is central to their belief in the religion. In Islam, there are 5 pillars of life. Muslim religion, they pray 5 times a day. In Hindu weddings, they have a ceremony to place 5 items in a cloth, and they tie it into a knot, symbolizing tying of 2 loose ends together. So it's like a union or marriage between 2 different worlds. In Vedic astrology, Mercury rules number 5, and in the Greek god that represents Mercury is Hermes, who is the messenger of gods and travels between 2 worlds. So that's the symbolism of 5, and then we'll move on to the traits of a 5 life path. So 5s, they strive to be free from constriction, as well as having the freedom to express their feelings without constriction. So they tend to be lively, intuitive, very sensual, passionate, and dynamic people who thrive on change and variety. They are physically magnetic, have artistic flair, they're always appearance ready, and they look attractive to the public. It's like they have to smell nice, look good. Because again, I would say five is the most sensual life path in numerology. Fives are also naturally curious and they want to see what's out there. They have a love for people. They're constantly moving, seeking adventure, traveling to distant lands, meeting new people from different cultures and backgrounds. So they've met many people learned a lot of new. They have a lot of perspectives. So they're also really good at telling stories as well. They overall are expressive when it comes to exploring and enjoying the pleasures of life. When I meet fives, they're very high energy, very dynamic, very passionate, and they're very sensual people. The purpose of 5 life paths. So we're getting to purpose now. They're called adventurers, explorers, freedom fighters, storytellers, and celebrators of life. 5s adapt very well to change. They actually thrive on change and variety. They also are here to seek what they're most passionate about, explore, and also show people how to live life to the fullest. They're also here to master self-expression, and that means and how you can master self-expression is when you don't have limitations or restriction. So they go through a lot of life lessons with restriction and freedom. And so mastering self-expression, it could only be achieved when freedom prevails. And they're also here to experience liberation, not just emotionally, but mentally, physically, such as like location, sexually, financially, and they often navigate through their intuition and stimulation through the 5 physical senses. They learn the most life lessons going through extremes of dependence and independence, discipline to lack of responsibility, self-control to overindulgence, to experience and understand what freedom truly means to them. So they either get involved in many relationships or don't get involved in relationships from the fear of depending on someone. They could be constantly traveling, they could be hopping to multiple jobs or picking up many hobbies at once or getting into drugs and partying. Anyone who gets involved with a 5 has to give them a lot of space and avoid clinging, because the last thing that the 5s want is somebody to attach to them or like suffocate them, because freedom is so important to a 5 life path. Because of having so many life experiences, they gain depth of perspective, and they become very good at telling stories as well, because they go through so many adventures, and they also succeed in fields that involve with sales because of the depth that they have and because of the experience they have with many people. They also have a curious nature and become really good at detectives. So if you do lie to a 5, they will research and they will seek the truth, because they don't like being in the dark. They will find out. They have a really good bullshit detector. A purposeful 5 is here to experience what freedom truly means to them. Like that's number 1. And that's going to be through exploration, through self-expression, through depth of experience, and most importantly, their freedom is going to be achieved through discipline. So now we're going to move on to their gifts or their light expression. So for a 5, their best expression is when they are expiring, quick-witted, They have high energy, they're very charismatic with people, they're passionate, sensual, they're open-minded and expansive, adaptive to change, and achieving freedom that results from self-discipline. This, how I'm describing 5, is like the completely opposite of a 4 life path. Also, 5s on the light side are very curious and compassionate. They have a love for people. They love people. They're very love motivated. And so because of that, they're likely to notice injustices, and it triggers them to take action, as well as wanting to know more about why people end up where they are. And since 5s go through so much change and variety, their depth of experience is beneficial in helping others and inspiring others to achieve what freedom is through change as well. So they also inspire other people to venture out of their comfort zones. 5 life paths, they're able to master many roles if they dive deep into one topic or one hobby or one interest at a time. And because of their varied experiences with people and adventures, they can use that to write and tell stories. So they're really good at telling stories, always exciting stories, as well as succeed in sales as well. Be really good sales people. They'd also be incredible writers. I think of J.K. Rowling, because 5s are they have vivid imagination. People, when they write, people can live vicariously through the images that they create through their descriptions using 5 physical senses. And also, 5s have great potential for clairvoyancy, and clairvoyancy is clear seeing, so it's a lot with the third eye sight and seeing things clearly. It's related to imagination and vision, as well as maybe being able to see the future as well. So if they're open to that, they have a lot of high potential for that psychic ability. And at the highest level, and what I mean by highest level is when they, as they mature, as they pick up their wisdom through life lessons. So at the highest level of 5s, total liberation is achieved internally, knowing that they are in control of their thoughts and emotions, and they have the freedom to make choices. They have the freedom to create change, get out of negative situations or get out of negative jobs or relationships. And also at the highest level, they inspire others to find their passion and freedom. And as I said again, 5s, they are the most passionate people out of the other life paths. And even if you have a 5 in your life chart, there is some passion right there and such deep pleasure when it comes to celebrating life, as well as pleasure with the 5 physical senses. Now, we will move on to the challenges or the shadow side. And before we get into that, if you are a 5 life path, just let me know in the comments if this resonates with you or what doesn't make sense with you, because I'm always open to improving. And also, if you'd like a personalized reading, go ahead to look at the description and feel free to book a call with me. Okay, so back to the challenges. The shadow side of the 5 vibration is when they are impulsive, when they are restless or very rebellious. They have lack of discipline. They overindulge. They have addictions, and they are off balance. So I've mentioned before, 5s get a lot of pleasure or stimulation when it comes to the 5 physical senses. So they're most likely to escape or overindulge into food, to travel, with sex, with work, with drugs and alcohol. And when it comes to work, they have a fear of being constrained or fear of boredom, and it drives them to hop from one job to another or never committing to anything. They could take multiple jobs at once, multiple hobbies at once, or even, so I'm still talking about work, or even taking on illegal work to avoid being confined by society. Young fives, as when they're younger, they would rebel against having to answer to authority, and they would resent their boss because they don't like to be the subject of authority. So that means they have a failure to learn the value of confinement, which is the values. It's in self-discipline, it is patience, it is self-control, and that's how they achieve freedom, actually. With relationships, they can jump from one to another. They could abandon an older, the current relationship and take on another partner that is more passionate, or there's more sexual adventures. They could get married multiple times or get married really, really late into life, or they could never get into a serious relationship from the fear of depending on someone. Also, another challenge is, so like fives, they like seeing the big picture, which is good, but if they continue to ignore details, that leads to uncertainty, nervousness, having a restless mind, irritability, and stress. So if they're not taking the use of their high energy, because they have a lot of vitality, so if they're not taking use of that high energy to explore or travel the world, then the five would turn life into a drama, because something has to be exciting. They'd rather be dead than bored. So when they feel that life is not their own, such as, say, feeling stuck in a relationship, that's gonna lead them to depression, because they feel like life is not their own. So that is it for the challenge, or the shadow side of 5 vibration or life path. Let's move on to growth or development. Okay, so first, my advice is for 5 life paths is to create a daily routine where they can practice self-discipline, which gives them freedom, such as like training your body daily, as well as meditating daily. They get freedom from their mind. When they're exercising or training regularly, they get freedom from an unhealthy lifestyle and being free from stress. Another advice is not to let boredom stop you. So if 5 wants to master something, they can go really deep into that topic instead of abandoning it so quick. And once they go deep into that topic, they can hop on to the next one. The best way to deal with that boredom is to find one field that they are most passionate about, and that field would lead them into many other new things. So like one focus after another. The best example I have for a famous person is Gordon Ramsay. He is a 5 life path. He's super, super passionate about what he does with cooking, with culinary. And so going into that field, it leads him to business. It leads him to improving hotels, not just restaurants. So that's a really good thing when it comes to career, is to find one field where you can extend or expand from. And also another advice is to strengthen your sight. So that is like exploring your imagination, practicing visualization to manifest, and also writing or storytelling fiction or fantasy, because people can really fall in love with the descriptive imagery that 5s create. And another one is to develop attention to detail, which helps a 5 widen their perspective on life. And it also helps with clairvoyancy as well, like attention and awareness to details. if they are restless, so if a 5 is restless or stressed from doing too many things at once, spend more time in nature. That you do have a lot of adventure in nature. There are things that are unexplored, so it helps to with stimulation from the environment. Also, for a 5 life path, take on travel opportunities. It's also going to develop their depth of life, and it will help them with observing, powers of observation, and also to gain wisdom from understanding so many perspectives. And the last advice for 5's growth is to remember that you always have freedom to choose. You always do. Freedom to change anything that is mundane, freedom to take on a new job, freedom to get out of a negative relationship. We in general always have freedom over the choices that we have. So that is it for the growth and development of a 5. And now I have an affirmation. And it is, I have the freedom to choose my reality. My thoughts and actions create change. I am free to see the world differently. So again, it is, I have the freedom to change my reality. My thoughts and actions create change. And I am free to see the world differently. So that's good to add to a daily routine or write that somewhere, a daily affirmation. For careers, 5s will find it very hard to work under strict or regulated hours because they become very bored easily. They also they also resent their boss if they feel they are smothered or overly controlled. So they do better in jobs that allow them to work without needing immediate direction. Many 5s I found work in hospitality and entertainment fields. They're actually perfect for those fields because in hospitality and entertainment, it requires you to have lively energy as well as deal with a lot of people with varieties of backgrounds and cultures. And also 5s are motivated by love, motivated by people. They love people. 5s are also naturally entrepreneurial because they don't like to be the subject of someone's authority. And also, I already said it twice, but they do really well working in sales and marketing. They could really sell using their depth of experience and experience with people. So just a list of careers. They would do well in anything that's related to restaurants, hotels, cruises, being a wedding planner or wedding decorator, event planner, photojournalist, travel agent, pilot, flight attendant, being a professional actor or actress, being a dancer, getting involved in sales or marketing, doing freelance work as a writer or an artist, designer, and inventor. They also have a wild side to them, wild and crazy side. So there are 5s who take jobs that involve risk and adventure, such as working in wildlife, in casinos, in extreme sports, or risque jobs. Okay, so that is it for careers. I'm going to list some famous people. So on the thumbnail, you saw Gordon Ramsay, Beyonce, Lana. Wait, I didn't have Lana Del Rey. But I'll just continue listing them. So Lana Del Rey, Conan O'Brien, Angelina Jolie, Ryan Gosling, J.K. Rowling, Cara Delevingne, Abraham Lincoln, Alan Watts, Marc Jacobs, Selena Gomez, Bradley Cooper, David Hasselhoff, Bruno Mars, Simon Cowell, Jay-Z, Camila Cabello, Tom Holland, David Guetta, and Vincent van Gogh, the artist. Okay, so that is it for 5 life paths. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need personalized reading, make sure to check out my description and you can book a crystal clear call with me. So that is it for the 5, and we'll move on to the 6 life path. So Have a wonderful day, beautiful souls. Until next time, bye.